So a few things that I want to go over before the video starts. So make sure you've got a pen and a piece of paper at the side of you in case you want to take some notes. Benefit of this being a video is you can listen to it again. So on the revision slides, if there's things that you don't quite get and you want to have another look at, please do listen to the video again. Get ready to pause because throughout there are going to be slides where I'm asking you to do activities and you're going to need to pause the video, so get ready to do that. And I really want you to focus and try and avoid distractions. What I find really useful is putting my phone into another room so it doesn't distract you while you're watching the video. So here's your maths project for the week commencing 6th of July. And it is a little bit different to what you've done previously. So because this is your last maths project of this academic year, if you've been in year 7, each day you're going to have 10 questions to answer that cover all the topics that you have learned throughout this year of being in year 7. And from the maths department, so all the teachers would just like to say a massive well done for all your hard work in maths this year. So before we go on to Monday's questions, I am going to do a bit of revision each day before we go into the questions. And today it's on long multiplication, okay? So if you're given a question like 18 times 4, you might have quite a few methods that you already know and already use and feel confident at answering this question. There are 3 here that you might find useful. I'm going to go over the second one. So if you look at the shorthand one, you write 18 times 4 in a column. And to start with, you're going to do 8 times 4, which we know gives us 32. But we don't write the 3 and the 2 in the answer boxes. We only write the 2. The 3 gets carried, okay? So the 3 goes underneath, the 2 goes in the answer box. So you've done 8 times 4, you're now going to do 1 times 4. And 1 times 4 is 4, but don't forget you carry 3. You have to add that onto the 4 to give you 7. So your final answer is 72. So if you want to pause the video and have a look at these examples in a bit more detail, that's absolutely fine. If not, here's your 10 questions for today. You're going to pause the video and answer the questions now. Welcome to Tuesday's questions. So our revision for today is on percentages of amounts without using a calculator. And we're specifically going to look at finding 10% of an amount. Now, there are lots of amounts here, and I've written what 10% of all those amounts are. In order to find 10%, you just divide the number by 10, or you go to the end of the number, go 1 loop in and put a decimal point. So let's look at a few on the first row. So if you're finding 10% of £7, if you divide 7 by 10, you get 70p, or 0.7. Go to the end of the number, move 1 place in, it gets you the exact same answer. So let's look at the next one. 10% of £32, divide by 10, gets you 3.2, £3.20. Don't forget we have to convert it to pounds and pence. Or just go to the end of the number, so go to the end of 32, move 1 loop in and put a decimal point, gives you the exact same answer. So let's just skip to the blue one. 10% of 128, divide by 10, or go 1 place in from the end, and it gets you 12.8 in pounds and pence will be £12.80. Okay, if you want to pause this and look at these examples in a bit more detail, that's absolutely fine. If not, the 10 questions are coming up now and you need to pause it and answer the 10 questions in the boxes provided. Hi and welcome to Wednesday's Tenet Questions. So our revision for today is on factors, okay? So don't forget that a factor, they are numbers that go into another number, and factors always come in pairs. So if you look at the number 8, in this example, and you have to list the factors of 8, I always put them in pairs because 1 times 8 gives you 8, 2 times 4 gives you 8, so the factors are 1, 2, 4 and 8. Let's look at the number 44. So the factors of 44 are 1 times 44 gives you 44, so 1 and 44 are factors. 2 times 22 gives you 44, so 2 and 22 are factors. 4 times 11 gives you 44, so 4 and 11 are factors. So all the factors of 44 are 1, 2, 4, 11, 22 and 44. People always tend to forget that 1 is a factor of every number, okay? So try not to forget that when you go over the questions. So here's your 10 questions for today. You're going to pause the video and have a go at those 10 questions. Put your answers in the boxes provided. Welcome to Thursday's questions, guys. Today's revision is on adding and subtracting fractions. Now, when you're adding and subtracting fractions, you use the same method. You have to make sure the denominators are the same before you can either add or subtract fractions. So let's look at the first one. 4 over 5 minus 1 over 5. Now, the denominators are the same, so you can just subtract the numerators. So 4 take 1 gives you 3, and the denominator remains the same as 5. You do not subtract them. So the answer will be 3 over 5. Now, the second one is an addition, so you're doing 2 over 7, add 3 over 7. Okay, denominators are the same, so you can just add the numerators. So 2 add 3 gives you 5, and the denominator remains the same. Pause this if you want to look at these examples in a bit more detail, or here's your 10 questions. You can pause the video now, have a go at those 10 questions, and put your answers in the boxes provided. Okay, so Friday's 10 questions, last of the week, okay? And the revision for today is on prime numbers. So I'm just going to explain to you a bit about what prime numbers are. So a prime number only has 2 factors. It cannot have any more factors, because if a number does, then it cannot be prime. And those factors are itself and 1. Okay, so it will not appear in any other times table. So let's look at an example. So the number 2, that is prime, okay, because the number 2 is only in the 2 times table and the 1 times table. It is not in any other times table, and therefore it is a prime number. An example of a number that isn't prime is the number 9. Now this isn't a prime number because, as well as being in its own times table, the 9 times table and the 1 times table, it's also in the 3 times table. So therefore it cannot be prime because it has more than 2 factors. Okay, so just a bit of a recap on what prime numbers are. If you want to pause the video now and read that through, just to get a better understanding, that's fine. If not, we're going to go on to today's 10 questions. So here's your 10 questions for Friday, last of the week. Pause the video and put your answers in the spaces provided. Well done for watching the video and having a go at those. Make sure you submit that PowerPoint and your answers to your teacher. Okay, well done.